Hey, it's Terraform Time. I'm Jose Antonio Reyes, Senior Innovation Engineer at PagerDuty and the main PagerDuty Terraform provider maintainer. Before starting Terraform Time, I want to do a quick reminder about our week schedule. And remember that Terraform Time is being streamed every Wednesday at 4 p.m. East Time and 1 p.m. Pacific Time. It's been streamed through Twitch and YouTube at the same time at our official PagerDuty channels at twitch.com/PagerDuty and youtube.com/c/PagerDuty. You can also, as always, contact us to our email community-team@pagerduty.com, and I really encourage you to join to our forums at community.pagerduty.com. Okay, about our today's main topic, I plan to talk about automating incident response using PagerDuty Incident Workflows. Incident Workflows is a very powerful product which allows you to automate the common task related with joining together the responders and tasks related with keeping up to date the stakeholders of an incident, creating automatically creating Slack channels to streamline the communication between the responders and also the stakeholders. And this is the product documentation for PagerDuty's incident workflows. It will allow you to introduce these automations to the incident resolution workflow in a conditional way, but also in a manual fashion if it's that what you want to. And what I want to do is to use one of our templates because right now I'm just have switched to my Sandbox account, PagerDuty Sandbox account, and you can find incident workflows on the automation tab, incident workflows, and when you get here, you will find this the first time you get here because you won't have any incident workflow already set up. You will find these three templates which will lead you to using a recommended template for starting to use incident workflows. You can follow any of these templates to set up an incident workflow, for instance, for automating the response of major incidents or creating a collaboration workflow just to have it there in case, not for any major incident, but for incidents that you believe will need of some collaboration, and instead of having to go to your Slack workspace and start reaching out to every of the collaborators that will be helping you during your response to the incident, and gathering them together in a new channel and all those things. You can have this collaboration workflow ready to be triggered manually with those kind of incidents where you think will be useful to have some of your colleagues collaborating together to solve an incident. This is also very powerful because allows you to, in, in a very easy way, to set up the uh, a channel to keep up to date the stakeholders to the incident. Let me go through every one of these real quick and show you which is the difference between them. But uh, before moving forward, I want to tell you that this one is like the combination of these two, but with the suggestion of using it to solve major incidents with um, an already provide expression to capture major incidents. So let me go through this. Okay, this is the template for major incidents. The template for major incidents is showing us here a preview of what it's going to set up in order to have at the end um, major incidents workflow fully set up. It will create a conditional trigger, starts on incident workflow. This is just the description. This is just the description of the conditional trigger, but it's not the description of the conditional expression that the trigger is going to use to trigger the workflow conditionally when an event that matches this condition appear. The same for manual trigger. The difference between conditional triggers and manual triggers is, as I said, conditional triggers will allow you to craft an expression written in PCL language. PCL language stands for PagerDuty Conditional Language, and is a language very similar to plain English, which lets you to using the severity and urgency of the incidents to um, describe some conditions which will allow the incident workflow to trigger itself when the condition matches the when the event matches the condition set up here. Manual trigger is just um, uh, configuration that will allow you to say, okay, this incident workflow, this major incident workflow, will be able to be triggered manually or not. And these are going to be the actions that will be happening once this incident workflow start to be executed, which is creating a Slack channel for the incident. This by default will add the incident ID and some context around it if you set that up. And adding a conference bridge, if you provide one, this is totally optional. Add the responders to the incident, and add the stakeholders. Additionally, send the status updates to these stakeholders. So I won't use this template. I just wanted to show you what it have inside. Collaboration workflow. Let me open this in a new tab. And again, okay, major incident workflow. This is the template for collaboration workflow and the template for update stakeholders workflow. Well, the major incident workflow, as I said, has like the all that is currently possible um, to do with incident workflows, which are conditional manual triggers and all these actions. However, collaboration workflow again has conditional trigger or the ability to set up a conditional trigger to say if you want to be able to trigger this manually or not. And the actions, since this is a collaboration workflow, this is going to create, once this workflow gets triggered, it will create an Slack channel with the again with the idea of the incident and the context that you set up here, and add optionally a conference bridge for gathering together or having a conference bridge where to talk about the during the resolution life cycle of the incident. Again, this is a very powerful and useful workflow to have whenever you are in the middle of a resolution for incidents where you find valuable and useful to collaborate with your colleagues during the resolution of the incident. This is the updated stakeholders workflow template. I forgot to mention that these are only templates. This is not the only way to set up an incident workflow. You can definitely go here and start from scratch and put put out wherever you want to set up your own incident workflow. These again are just templates which will help you to start um, um, as fast as possible with the adoption of incident workflow and start um, seeing value on the use of this PagerDuty feature. The updated stakeholders workflow template, it's well, look here it says it has like an overview. Loop in stakeholders the moment an incident occurs and subscribe the stakeholders, then post a custom or templated status update during the life cycle of the incident resolution. Again, it could be conditional, manual. The stakeholders uh, are up to you to set whom are going to be the stakeholders to be part of the um, of the workflow. And the send status update is a very powerful feature because will allow you to uh, keeping up to date the stakeholders for the stakeholders of the incident during again its incident resolution lifecycle. And this works with providing them with notification um, in the form of email messages, SMS, and also the internal status page too. So I believe I have talked a lot about incident workflows up to this moment. So, without further ado, let's start using Terraform and writing some HCL code. But before moving forward, I need you to give me a second, please. Okay, sorry about that. We are ready to move on. And, well, I'm going to, yes, I'm going to implement using Terraform this major incident workflow. That is our today endeavor with writing some HCL code. So I'm going to switch to my development environment. I have this new idea of sharing with you the code that I'm going to be writing during the Terraform episode. So um, I'm planning to do this with every episode. I hope I can follow along with that. So first step will be let me talk to you about the structure of of the code that we are going to be writing during Terraform time. For you to understand the repository, it's very simple. I'm just going to create on PagerDuty's GitHub public GitHub repository this new project, and inside it, I'm going to start creating uh, directories with every Terraform Time episode. I'll be coding together with you from this point on. Um, this is going to start with this HCL template. Each time um, I write a new example or implementation on Terraform for a Terraform Time episode, I'll be copying this template file, this template directory, where I have inside the template directory, I have this simple configuration that I've been showing you since the beginning of Terraform Time, and this variable configuration. This is the minimum necessary to get up and running with a Terraform project using our Terraform provider. It is by any means a recommendation of best practices. This is only for prototyping and to quick testing some of the PagerDuty provider capabilities. And we're going to use it as a easy way to start coding around with Terraform. So before start starting to code, I wanted to create that project and share it directly with you. So I will need to do the following. Okay, create a new repository, no template, but the owner will be PagerDuty, and the name, the repository will be Terraform Time episodes code. Do you think this is a good name, or do you believe I need to change it? I believe it's okay. It's claritative and easy to understand. So yes, I'm going to keep it unless you have any other opinion on this. For the sake of moving on, I won't put any description. I will add it afterwards. Internal account. You can choose who can comment. Oh, well, okay, this is okay. Oh. I forgot about this. I can create a public repository that easy. So this is what I'll do. I create it on my, I'll be the owner of this. And later I will have to move it to PagerDuty namespace. Any of this, just a license. No, not right now. This is going to be public. Create the repository. I'll copy this. Here we already have a Git repository initialize and git ignore. So I'm going to add this as git remote, git remote add this. Git remote. Oh, yeah. Git remote add origin. Yeah, like this. Okay, we're ready to go. Remote. Okay, we're ready. Now, as I said, I'm going to make a copy of this. Copy HCL, and we'll say that this is. Yeah, I'm going to put the date on every directory just to have some ordering. So I'm going to use this system. This is 15. Name will be incident workflows. Incident workflows. Yes, incident workflows. Automate incident responses. And no, I'll use a simpler name. Okay. So I'm going to change the directory to this newly created location, and we'll enter to main.tf. Okay, with this, let me create the initial commit. Git commit allow empty and initial commit. Oops. I'm going to add the git ignore file. Git commit amend. No edit. It is not empty anymore. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, we have now this. I'm going to push. Okay, git push u origin main. We now should have this. Okay, we have the repository initialized, and I can share it with you. Okay, this is the repository where we are going to be pushing the changes of today's episode. So I'm going to enter here, and now I'm ready to go. I'm going to say this. I will be using this terminal. Oops. To run the Terraform code. I don't know. Yes, I'll keep this to again for those of you that haven't seen me using this example. I'm going to describe it again, because from this point on we are going to keep using this same example and removing the resources, the not needed resources, and keeping the one that we need for using for going through the example and content of the episode. So for today, I'm going to keep it as it is, and this is going to create two services. These two services right here is going to create a service with the name of DB service TF local and web service TF local. These two services are going to be using this same escalation policy, and this escalation policy is going to be targeting this user. But this team, it is not being used. Okay. This escalation policy will belong to this team, to the team TF, team local one. Okay, we are ready to go because incident incident workflows relied on services and incidents, and we need services in order to trigger incidents. I will keep all of this as it is, and I'm just going to add the new code. I'm going to change this for code for incident workflows. Code for today's incident workflows configuration. Great. It fit directly before the emoji. Okay. So if I want to, let me close this. I'm going to switch back to my PagerDuty Sandbox account. And as I said, I'm going to code this major incident workflow into Terraform code. And I need to create, in order to do that, I need to create an incident workflow, which will have a conditional trigger, a manual trigger, and these actions down here. So I will need to go to the Terraform provider documentation and look for incident workflows. Incident workflow. This is the one you will need. Oops. Incident workflow. Yes. This one. And I'm going to copy this and switch to my editor. And here, I'm going to say that this incident workflow is going to be a major incident workflow, major incident workflow. I'm going to use the minimum necessary characters there. Name will be major incidents workflows. Major incident workflow. The description of this will be incident workflow incident workflow for responding on major incidents. If you have a better name or description, please don't hesitate on proposing one. Okay, from this step, I need to follow the template. Again, this is the template for major incident workflow, not the major incident workflow itself. So I need to add, using now Terraform resources, I'm going to set up an incident workflow with these capabilities. So the first step. Oh, by the way, the incident workflow resource will only allow you to set up the incident workflow itself, its name, its description, but additionally, the the team which has the permissions to do changes on it, and the actions that the incident workflow will take once it runs. So what you are going to be setting up with the incident workflow resource will be only this part of the incident workflow. The other section related with related with triggers, this is a separate resource which is called PagerDuty Incident Workflow Triggers. With this resource, you will be able to add triggers, conditionals, and manual ones to this to this incident workflow. So here I'm going to ignore this section for just a bit. Just let's ignore this for just a bit. Before moving on, I will also like to do Terraform. I haven't started this Terraform workspace, so I'm going to enter Terraform init. Okay, we are ready to go. And before, I want to follow this as is described here, because it will be easier to understand and follow for all of us. So I'm going to set up first the triggers as is shown here. So now I'm going to switch to the workflow trigger configuration and say incident workflow trigger resource. I'm going to put here the snippet, the example snippet for incident workflow trigger. Sorry. And now I can switch back to this. First, the easy one, the manual trigger. To set up a manual trigger, you need to set this. It says, let me check. Subscribe to all services. Okay. First, the manual trigger. The workflow will be major incident workflow. And services, I don't want this to be manually triggered by specific services. I want, for this case, I want to allow every service which has an incident to be able to trigger this workflow. So I'm going to set here subscribed to all services true, and we'll remove this. Setting this to true, we'll say that all the services will, or an incident, when you are resolving an incident on every on the service that is presenting the incident, you will be able to trigger this workflow without any. So subscribe to all services, yes. And now with this, we are setting up the manual trigger. I'm going to copy this and going to paste it down here. Now for the conditional trigger. Conditional trigger. To put it here. Type conditional. Okay, how do we set this to conditional? The type is required and only have two options to be manual or conditional. So I'm going to set this to conditional. The workflow will be the same. Subscribe to all services. However, whenever you set this, you set a trigger to conditional, you will have to um, to set a PCL condition or a condition in the condition attribute. Let me workflow condition. So you will need to set up a new condition here. And for that, you will need to use this, which is PCL language, which again stands for PagerDuty Condition Language. And you need to do something like this. But I'm going to say here, event, this language relies on PagerDuty. Let me look for it because I don't remember it. Yeah, this conditional language relies on common event format, and the common event format is the common properties that you expect from a PagerDuty event to have. It can have a lot more, but those others non-described here are like not supported by this common interface or common event format specification. So every event, should provide a value for each and every attribute or property of this. So to target an event, and to say that an event could be a major incident, our criteria will be to say that its priority, yes. Give me a second. Summary severity, class, component group. Class, component, severity. Let me check what is doing this here. I'm going to say use the template. Let me get some help from this conditional trigger. Yes, priority. Okay, even but priority. Okay. Okay, priority is not described here, but you can use if priority is not part of the event itself, you can use event orchestration to add the priority to every event and capture that or match that event with the condition of the incident workflow trigger. Going to delete this. So I'm going to say here event priority matches P1, or you can use also or here, or yes, oops, or P2, yeah, or even priority matches P2. This will match every incident, every event which has its priority set to P1 or P2. So with this, we should be ready to set the trigger. And before moving forward, I need to check what are the required attributes of the incident workflow to start applying this. So the name is in an incident workflow configuration, you will need or is required the name, but description, team, and steps aren't required. So, okay, we are good. We are good to go. And I can apply, I can plan this. Okay, it looks like it's going to create the trigger and each of its trigger types. This is the incident. So I'm going to apply this. Terraform, apply, auto, approve. Great. It created it. Okay, if I refresh this, I should be able to, yes. Here we have it. Major incident workflow. Conditional trigger. Event priority. No, this is not looking good. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. Look at this. This shouldn't be looking like this. So let's update it. Because I made a typo here. This should be lowercase. If we check this, here is lowercase. So putting this in lowercase, oops, I should change here. I will apply it again, this. Okay, change is made. Let's check again. Okay, there we go. Now, matches part, and I also don't like this. I want to be, I know I want this to be P1 or P2, not mashing just a part of the priority name. So I want to change this to matches PR and P2. Why I put it like that? Because if you want, let me, expressions, path, type, string, boolean. Give me a second, I want to show you this. Operators. Okay, look at this. Built-in operators for the PCL expressions. Let me share this with you. Okay. For a string comparison, we have matches, which will go into match exactly that, matches just apart, and you can also use regex. Because of that, I decided to say that the priority should match P1 or P2. I'm going to apply this again. And if we refresh this, okay, there we go. This is what I want. So with this condition, we will be conditionally targeting events, major incidents, sorry, which are going to have priority P1 or P2. Okay, the manual trigger is very straightforward. So I'm going to cancel here. And let's add the actions. back to all workflows. Going to open again the template, create a Slack channel for an incident. For the sake of the time, uh, I believe I took too much time talking about incident workflows, so I'm going to start with this. Um, yeah, why not? Next week we can start over from here, do a recap on creating the action and also the triggers, and complete the whole incident workflow implementation on Terraform. But we are going to have this this repository available to do a follow up and continue with the code. So let's move on. Now I want to move on with the creation of an Slack channel for an incident. That is part of, now switching back to incident workflow definition, that is part of a step. And now I'm going to unlock this, uncomment this, sorry, and say that I want, let me, um, let me arrange here the layout. Okay, this is going to be creating the step. Oh, look at this. I won't change the name of this step yet, because in this part of the configuration for the incident workflow, you will need to do an additional step, which is not like explicitly documented here, because it's part of a li- yeah, of a living definition of the available actions for incident workflows. So each time you want to add a new step to an incident workflow, you will need to fetch for the available actions for incident workflows. You will find those available actions for incident workflows on the REST API reference, PagerDuty REST API reference for incident workflows. Here at list actions. So I want to share this with you. List action. This is very important. This is the link. Okay. Remember, you can download this whole REST API specification just clicking on this button, and after that you will be able to play around with the public PagerDuty REST APIs using Postman directly, and that's what I'm going to do. I previously located the list actions API, and after setting up my API key, I hit send, and I got the whole list of actions available to be set up to a specific incident workflow. Before hitting send, I really encourage you to set the limit of every page that is going to be returned by the API to its max, which is 100 results per request or per page, 100 items per page, for you to have more results where to look up. So after doing this API call, you will have this massive list of available actions. Again, as I said, this is a living a specification of the available actions and also a version at one, because all the actions uh, are not like static, they have versions, and you can decide if if you'll be using the the latest version, or you want to stick to a previous version of a specific action. I'm not sure, but I believe that on the PagerDuty console we are using the latest version of each action, but that is only an assumption of mine, because it is uh, there is no I haven't seen like a reference to the version of the action. But let's configure this action for creating a Slack channel, and let's check on for a reference to the version that we are using. So again, I'm going to switch to my Postman list, the incident workflow actions available, and I'm going to look for an action with this name, create an Slack channel. So I'm going to hit the search button and create Slack. I want to just write Slack. It looks like it's easier. I have a lot of results. Let me, yeah, this one. Selecting name. This one. This is it. Create. Yeah, and this is the name. I want to look at this. The result, or the result, it found 5 results, which for me says that we have at least 5 versions of this action. And right now I am in the version 3, or I'm selecting the version 3. But if I go down a bit to the last, oh, look at this. It looks like there are more versions. I don't know. But I will always recommend you to use the latest if the configuration, if your Terraform configuration support it. So I'm going to use this, the latest, which is the version 7 of creating an Slack channel for an incident. So after choosing the action that you want to implement in your Terraform configuration, I'm going to again copy the name, put it here. This is going to be the name. And here for the action, you will need to set up the action ID, which is this. This is the action ID that you will need to put here on the action attribute. Not the, this is, maybe this is not the best name, but because of that, I remarked this of setting here the ID that you find in in the um, in the API result, assigning the action ID, sorry, to the action attribute on the Terraform resource. Next step is to set up the inputs. The inputs are going to be, as its name implies, what it's going to be, what are going to be the inputs that this step of the incident workflow will receive, to maybe add context, or in the case of creating a Slack channel, to add in the incident now, the incident ID. But these inputs are not like, they aren't like customizable. There are they are like provided by the action itself. If you scroll down a bit, let me put this a bit bigger, you will find that in this inputs array, you will find each and every input available for this specific action. So you can set the incident ID, the assigned user ID, the account ID, incident number, Slack workspace name, and channel name. Some of them already have a default value, so you don't have to uh, specify them if the value already uh, like satisfies the needs of your use case. Like in our case, if because we want to add the incident ID to the Slack channel, and its default value is already the incident ID. I won't be assigning this input because it is already set up and is doing what I wanted to do. The assigned user ID, user account. No, the ID of the user who is assigned to the incident. Already have a default value. The account ID already have a default value. This is also important if the action has required inputs or not. This is not required. It is not. It is not. This is required. And yeah, it's pretty obvious. We need to specify the Slack workspace name. So I'm going to set here Slack workspace name, and the value here you will need to. This is self documented. As you maybe are already realizing, because here you will find the description, the type of input, if it's required or not, and this is just metadata. And the value that you need to put here will come out from your Slack integration that you should already have in your account. If you move to the integration menu and switch to Slack integration, in my case, I already have this workspace set up in my account. You will need to go through the process of setting up the an Slack workspace in your PagerDuty account. Let me help you with that. Looking here for Slack connection. And yes, this is what you need to do. Map your PagerDuty account to a valid Slack workspace. This is the documentation on how to do it. Okay, with this, we can move on. Okay, my Slack workspace already mapped to my account is PagerDuty. So I'm going to say here, just PagerDuty. And with this, we should be ready to go. And after applying this, we should have a ready to use incident workflow. Let's apply it. Let me put this bigger. Apply this time to check out the plan first. Okay, it's going to add a new step, create a Slack channel. Oh, it's looking very good. We'll say yes, apply it, please. Apply complete, and checking on the incident workflows. Okay, look at this. Previously, the status of the incident workflow was draft, and was draft because we didn't have any steps set up on the incident, but on the incident workflow. But now that we have at least one step, which is creating a Slack channel for this, uh, the incident workflow is already published and we are able to use it. But before doing that, I like to check out the result, and great, it added this step, and we have an issue here. Select a workspace. I added Adams view. Give me a second. A Slack channel. No. I have a trick for this because um, you maybe experience this same issue. So I'm going to do the following. I did set the workspace to let me check the action documentation. Case sensitive name of the Slack workspace. The channel is in PagerDuty. I set it to PagerDuty because it's the same name that I have set up in my account. So let me check out the state list, and incident workflow. Okay, let me check what is the value being assigned to that configuration. Terraform state show major incident workflow. Okay, input generated through create a Slack channel for an incident. Oh, look at this. Name is Slack workspace name. The value is PagerDuty. Well, the workaround for this is the following. I'm going to edit workflow. Here, I'm going to select PagerDuty. Look at this, it's the same. Let's see how we fix this. I'll say yes, save the change. And now I will run a plan to check out the difference. There's no difference. Why is that? Well, to be honest, I don't know what's happening. But this is the look at that. Sorry. I haven't saved this. Again, Terraform plan. No, the same. Publish changes. Workflows works like this. It is the only two-step process. The only PagerDuty object at this point, which needs a two-step process to actually confirm or having the changes ready to use after any updates you do to it. So because of that, I wasn't able to check this. So I expect this to work now. Terraform plan. Yeah. Okay. Look at this. Slack workspace name. And PagerDuty conditional. It is trying to create all this. So we need to assign, create a Slack channel, but we need to assign the ID, not the display name of the uh, Slack workspace, like the specification says. Because if I check this, back to our workflows, create a Slack channel, I can see PagerDuty here, but down the hood, it is using the ID. So we need to grab the ID from someplace. Okay, add-ons. Let me do something like this. No. This is the ID. No, I can't find because I was trying to relate this ID with the Slack workspace ID, but they aren't the same. Look at this. This is POB and this is P2B. Let me do a final test and look for atoms. Get the list of installed atoms. I'm going to remove, uncheck all this, and hit send. Oh yeah, I need to do something additional here. Headers, send. Invalid input provide params. Invalid limit must be any. Oh yeah, this. I don't have any add-ons. Okay, add-ons, incidents, log entries on call, abilities. No. This is unnecessary, but no, this is totally unnecessary. Unfortunately, I don't have right now a way to get this. Let me check out here. No. Extensions here. Extensions. Let me check here this. Uncheck all this and set the limit to 0. I want to find a way to get the ID. Again, need to do this. Invalid parameters must limit. Oh, I made a mistake there. No. No, it is not showing me. Any extensions either. Mm, 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 okay. From this point, the only uh, walk around which is working for us is doing what I did, which is getting. Let me look for this Slack integration. Give me a second. Slack connection, workspace ID. Yeah, let me check something here. No, this isn't this. Uh, Give me a second. There is a place. Mm, this this looks like the workspace ID, but the Slack workspace ID, because it's similar to this, not the channel ID. And the workspace ID, if I remember correctly, can be extracted from Slack. Let me workspace. No, I'm sorry. Right now, this is the way I see this possible. Like going here, copying this out, uh, changing it here like this, and I'm going to put here that this is a PagerDuty workspace, a Slack workspace, Slack workspace, like this. And to solve any diffs between this Terraform configuration and the change that I did, I'm just going to delete the whole incident workflow, and also delete it from my state, from the Terraform state, rm. I'm just going to plan it again. Terraform plan. Yeah, it's going to add all the resources. Now, if we refresh here, there is now incident workflow. And if we apply this configuration, we'll be able to see the result. Yes, in our incident workflow. Yeah, it's already published. These are the conditions. Manually conditional. We'll create an Slack channel. Is now is mapped to PagerDuty, but again, this is something that needs to be addressed on the incident workflow documentation for a Slack, for creating a um, Slack incidents, Slack channels for the incident, because this is not working like it says here. Okay. Let's test this out before wrapping up. So I'm going to, because this incident workflow can be conditionally and manually triggered by every service. I'm going to pick one of the services that we created before and trigger a new incident there. This is the service. The insert title will be testing out incidents workflows. Oh, I don't know what's happening with my incident workflows during Terraform Time. Give me a second here. Yes, during Terraform Time. And to trigger the incident workflow conditionally, this is what I was talking about, which is the priority. I will set the priority of this to P2 to make the incident workflow get triggered by receiving this kind of incident or an incident with a priority of 2. I won't add any of this. Not responders, not conference bridge, not meeting URL. All this section, well, except for, sorry, all this section can be managed through incident workflows, creating incident workflows which add additional responders, conference bridge, and meeting URL. I will create the incident. Okay, the incident got triggered. The timeline, let me refresh this. Timeline, status updates. Triggered, priority set to P2. Why the incident priority? Let me get back to the workflows. Here, I'm going to use the template. The incident didn't got triggered. Priority. Let me check this. Oh, look at this. I didn't run. I should have done this. Going to, well, I made a mistake writing down the PCL expression. So I'm going to make the update right away. PCL expression for the conditional trigger will be this. Because of that, it didn't got triggered. I'm going to apply the change. Say yes. But this doesn't mean, oh, cancel. Let me delete this major incident template. This doesn't mean we can't trigger manually the incident workflow. So if you come here to run incident workflow, you will be able to run the incident workflow manually. And after a few seconds, a new Slack channel will be added here. This won't be refreshed automatically. So we need to, yeah, there it is. We now have a new Slack channel to gather together with colleagues and solving the incident. Let me see if I can show you that. going to copy the link address, paste it here. Give me a second. Okay. Let me. Oh. Okay. Okay. I believe I'm going to do it like this. Yeah. Sorry. But that's what I can do. Okay. This created the channel, and this is the same as Slack channel. If I hit join the channel, yes, I can enter the channel and start talking about resolving this incident. And it was a result of running the workflow. I'm going to, you also have this, the all these options related with solving the incident, which is change, reassign, escalate, run a play. No, I won't mess around with this. I need to get this. I'm just going to acknowledge this incident and solve it. Incident solved. Okay, so with this, we already have an incident workflow set up with a collaboration, minimal collaboration, or not minimal, because this is very powerful by itself. Just adding a Slack channel related with the incident, and knowing where is the place where the resolution conversation is happening, instead of having to share with every of the stakeholders and incident responders where are they solving the or talking about solving the incident and all the topics regarding that. um, with this, you will have in an automated fashion easy way to find that location where you are talking about solving the incident. So before wrapping up, I'm going to save this. I'm going to move here. Yes. So with this, git status, git add everything, git commit, and add this. Episode. What happened? Okay. With this, I can push this code to the repository. We can continue with this next week to complete the rest of the steps. Oh, look at that. Okay, yes. What is this? Oh, yeah. It's okay to be there. With this, we can continue next week with the rest of the actions that this major incident workflow will take in order to have a complete incident workflow. Hopefully, we'll have an answer for how to get the Slack workspace ID. I hope to have it, because even though I talked about walk around for grabbing it from the state diff. Um, I don't believe that is the best way to do it. We need a more explicit way to to communicate that to the new users of this feature. So with this, before wrapping up, I would like to make a reminder about the weekly schedule, and recall that Terraform Time is being streamed every Wednesday at 4 p.m. East and 1 p.m. Pacific. I hope to see you next week. Bye bye.